All right, picture this. You wake up, right, and your wrist is all stiff.
Oh,
And you're
yeah.
thinking, "Ugh, I must have slept on it funny." But then it just doesn't go away.
Mm.
Like weeks go by and it's still achy. So you finally drag yourself to the doctor. They run some blood tests. And one of them is looking for these things called CCP antibodies.
CCP antibodies.
Yeah. And those are kind of like our topic today, right? They're like this early warning system, almost like a radar for rheumatoid arthritis.
Yeah,
So we're going to unpack all that. But don't worry, we'll keep it clear and easy to follow.
definitely.
And maybe even throw in some fun facts along the way.
Yeah,
You ready to become your own health detective?
let's do it.
Okay, so before we jump into the antibodies themselves, maybe we should start with, like, what is this whole citrullinated thing? Because I know that's a big piece of the RA puzzle.
Okay, yeah. Citrullinated, think of it like this. Proteins, they're the building blocks of our cells, right?
Right, right.
And sometimes those proteins get modified, almost like someone's adding a little sticky note to them and changing their instructions. And that's basically citrullinated. It's a change to the protein.
Okay, so it's like a protein makeover.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing. With rheumatoid arthritis, your immune system kind of gets confused and starts seeing these modified proteins, these citrullinated proteins, as the enemy, even though they're really just a normal part of your own body.
So it's like your immune system is attacking its own team.
Yeah, exactly. It's an autoimmune condition, meaning the immune system, which is supposed to protect you, starts attacking you.
That's wild.
And CCP antibodies, they're like these specialized immune cells that are specifically trained to seek out and target these modified proteins.
So they're like the immune system's wanted posters for citrullinated proteins.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so I'm starting to see how this all connects. So let's say you go get this blood test and you find out you got these CCP antibodies floating around. What does that actually mean?
Well, it doesn't automatically mean you have RA, but it definitely raises a red flag.
So it's not a guarantee, but it's definitely something to pay attention to.
Right. It's a clue. It's like one piece of the puzzle. And the more these antibodies you have, the stronger the signal.
So it's kind of like a volume knob.
A volume knob, yeah.
Like if your CCP level's low, it's like the volume's turned down. Maybe there's a little something going on, but it's not super loud.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
But then if it's moderate or high, well, then the alarm bells are starting to go off.
Exactly. And that's when doctors really start to take notice and maybe order more tests or look for other signs of RA.
Okay, so early detection is key here, right?
Yeah.
Because the earlier you catch it, the better your chances of managing it.
Absolutely. That's one of the biggest reasons why the CCP test is so valuable. It can give you a heads up even before you have any noticeable symptoms.
It's like catching that fire when it's just a few embers, like you said earlier.
Exactly. You have a much better chance of containing it before it spreads and causes a lot of damage.
Makes sense. So we've talked about how these CCP antibodies work and how they can be a sign of RA. But is this test, like, foolproof? Are there any, I don't know, quirks we should be aware of?
Well, like any medical test, it's not perfect. Sometimes you can get false positives, although those are pretty rare. And on the flip side, some people might actually have RA, but not have detectable CCP antibodies.
So false negatives are possible too.
Yeah. Which is why this test isn't used as a standalone diagnosis. It's more like one piece of the puzzle, like we said before. Doctors are looking at the whole picture, your symptoms, your medical history, other test results, all of that.
Like detective work, putting all the clues together.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to have a good conversation with your doctor about your results. They can help you understand what it all means for you.
Okay, that makes sense. So knowing your CCP status, how does that actually change what your doctor might do? Like, how does it impact treatment decisions?
Yes. Well, if someone tests positive for CCP antibodies, especially if those levels are high, it might mean they need to start treatment more aggressively and sooner. And that could involve medications that specifically target the immune system to try to calm things down and prevent joint damage.
So it can really change the whole game plan.
Yeah, it can. Because remember, rheumatoid arthritis, it's not just about achy joints. It's a systemic disease. It can affect your whole body. So the goal is to catch it early and try to slow down that progression.
And that's where these CCP antibodies come in, like our little early warning system.
Exactly. They're giving us a glimpse into what's happening inside the body even before the symptoms become obvious.
That's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is. And the research in this area is constantly evolving. Scientists are learning more and more about these antibodies, like how they differ from person to person.
Oh, so it's not just a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Right. Not all CCP antibodies are created equal. Some are better at predicting more aggressive forms of RA, while others are linked to specific complications.
So it's like there's a whole world within these antibodies that we're still exploring.
Exactly. And that's why this field is so exciting. The more we learn about these antibodies, the better we can tailor treatment and improve outcomes for patients. Because the ultimate goal is to help people with RA live full and active lives.
Absolutely. So we've talked a lot about the science today, but I think it's important to remember that there's a human side to all of this too.
Oh, definitely.
It's not just about lab tests and diagnoses. It's about people's lives.
Absolutely. It's about understanding that rheumatoid arthritis can have a real impact on people's day-to-day lives. And it's about empowering people to take an active role in managing their condition.
And knowledge is power.
Right. It really is.
So what questions does all of this raise for you, for your own health journey? Arm yourself with information. Talk to your doctor. And remember, you are your own best advocate.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to ask questions and to advocate for your own well-being. It's your health. You deserve to be informed and to have a say in your care.
I'll understand it better myself.
You've been listening to the Learning Podcast, a production of metaNESTA. Remember, learning is a journey. One step, one insight, one skill at a time. We'll see you next time. Keep learning, stay curious, and as always, be awesome.